Why y'all so happy?
You don't know. Sharvette Mitchell is on the radio.
It's time to get motivated, excited, and influenced. Why? It's the Sharvette Mitchell Radio Show, live from Richmond, Virginia. And now, here to motivate, excite, and influence you, Sharvette Mitchell.
Well, hello, everyone, and welcome to the Sharvette Mitchell Radio Show, broadcasting from the capital city of Richmond, Virginia. But guess what? Heard all across the World Wide Web. Oh, my goodness. So listen, we got to tell you what is going on with today's show. My guest is hanging out. She's hanging out in the virtual studio, in the virtual green room. Listen, I know she is enjoying some virtual snacks while she is in there. We're going to be talking to Richmond's own terricinia-st-clair. Listen, she's a wine blogger. You're going to get to figure out what that is. She's a professional writer, and she has a new book out, a brand new book out, and it's called Conversing with the Elephant. Now, let me tell you the subtitle, 25 Things Our Girlfriends Don't Have the Balls to Tell Us. Oh, my goodness. So I know some of you are already uncomfortable, like, what in the world is that? Okay, listen, we're going to tell you all about it. We're going to tell you all about it. So don't move, but it's definitely a book about broaching those touchy topics with your girlfriend. So we're going to talk all about that. And then in our second segment, we certainly don't want you to move. We don't want you to go anywhere because we're going to be talking to James Edwards. He is a motivational speaker. He has been coined as the most valuable motivator. So, y'all are talking about the most valuable player, the MVPs. Well, he has been coined the most valuable motivator, the MVM. He has a new book out that's coming out, and the foreword of the book was written by the late, great Dr. Miles Monroe, and his book is called The DEA Will Transform Your Life. So you might be saying, what is the DEA? DEA stands for Desire, Effort, and Attitude. And listen, he's going to talk about how those three things took a small city drug lord, which would be himself, and turn him into a nationally known motivator. So we're going to have all that coming up for you today. So this is what I want you to do. Jump on Twitter, jump on Facebook. Tell them what you're listening to. Tell them you're hanging out on the Sharvette Mitchell Radio Show. Share the link with a friend. Shout out to all those that are listening on the phone lines. We see you. Thank you so much for checking us out here. So we're moving right on in again. First guest, Terricinia-st-Clair. I mean, her name just sounds so rich and famous already from the capital city of Richmond. She also hosts her own show. She has a video show. She has a whole bunch of stuff. And so we're bringing up to the mic right now, coming up to the mic right now, Terricinia-st-Clair. Hello. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, lady. Thanks for having me.
Oh, it's great to have you. Okay, so listen, your book title alone has people probably on the edge of their seats, like, where is she going with this? So before we jump all the way in there, let's talk about, before your professional writing started, what are other things going on in your life that you want to let the listeners know about?
Okay, well, I am also known as the Tipsy Sommelier. I am a wine steward. I pair food and wine with my own company. We do art and wine events. We do wine classes, winery tours, everything wine. I want to be involved in it. So that's a great deal of what I'm doing now. So that's pretty exciting. I have an interior design background before that. So I'm kind of all over the place, but right now, I'm focused on this book and being the Tipsy Sommelier and all the videos and all the fun that goes along with that.
Yeah, and so did you always think that you would write a book?
Actually, I did, and it's funny because I've always written since I was very young. But it's so many topics out there, and I'm always all over the place. My interests are everywhere, but this book and this topic was just kind of near and dear to my heart. It's something that I can chew, from my heart, from just experience and from life. And it just felt really good writing this. But I always figured I would write something.
Okay, and so was there, but you didn't know what you were going to write. So was there a specific inspiration for this book?
Yes, it was. And funny how things always come full circle. Like probably 10, 15 years ago, I had a girlfriend that had recently turned 40 tell me, girl, if you turn 40 and you still have 3 good girlfriends, consider yourself lucky. And I never got it. You know, like, I was probably like, close to 30 something. I didn't get it. I mean, I've always had a lot of girlfriends. I have 3 sisters. We just come from a very supportive, nurturing kind of environment, hardworking mom. I've always had women around me as positive people in my life, men too. But, my support and my people, they were my women, they were my girls. They always had me. So that kind of, like, I didn't get that.
Right.
I wasn't feeling that. But then kind of get why. And I determined just, through life, that there's a disconnect with the conversation, not so much about the issue that you may have problems with that friend about. It's about conversing about it and resolving it. So that's what made me, because I found myself in so many situations where, somebody needs to tell her. And depending on how close you are with that woman, you should tell her. Or, and I've been on the opposite side of it. I wish somebody had told me that. Like, I just wish somebody had told me something, But people, they don't want to. Your friends don't want to touch it. They don't want to touch it.
And, I've heard that same scenario, that if you have 3 good ones after 40, you're doing well. And so I think there is a stigma that women can't get along for an extended period of time, or girls can't, jive together for an extended period of time. So maybe your book will help that. Now, we got to talk about the title. Conversing with the Elephant, because we all know the slogan, we all know the phrase, the elephant that's in the room. But Conversing with the Elephant, 25 things our girlfriends don't have the balls to tell us. Okay, so that's a little spicy. How did you come up with that title?
Well, think about it. You don't see a bunch of guys with this problem, so they don't have a problem. They have the balls to say it. They say it. So, they don't do a lot of tiptoeing around your feelings. And then also, I just wanted to get something that's going to get your attention, because it deals with these 25 things that you really want to, you read the book, you say, yeah, I've been in that situation. It's not, I bet you every situation in this book you can relate to. I've been in that situation where I wanted to tell somebody that, unless you're that person that doesn't have a problem just saying what you feel or what you think, But I always say, and I just reiterate this in the book, when you say it with love, you say that out of love and with humor, it works well. A lot of times we don't touch it because we're like angry, or we're like, our feelings are too involved in it, so we don't want to touch it. If we say it, it's going to come out raw, it's going to come out nasty. Or you just are afraid to say it. I don't want to hurt her feelings. I don't want to, it's just awkward. I don't even know what to do with this. How many times have you been in situations like that? So this book pretty much compiles 25 situations where, girl, if you her friend, you better tell her. Tell her. She needs to know. This is information she must have. And if you don't tell her.
And it's so key. Yeah, let me just say, and it's so keen that you point out this is 25 things for your girlfriend. So not just kind of like the casual friendship. Like, this is, your Ace Boone Coons. This is who you hang with.
This is your girl. This is your ride or die. This is her responsibility ultimately. And I explain friendship tiers in this book. No, I don't want to hear from Joe Blow's sister over so-and-so's cousin over there. I don't need them to tell me anything, because they're not vested. They don't love me. But if you call yourself my girl and you love me and we're tight, honey, you just need to say it, whatever it is. Because, and I think also with this, we don't give each other enough credit. This is going to hurt her feelings. We don't give each other enough credit. I was in a conversation with this lovely woman the other night. We were working on a project, and we got into this dialogue or this banter about, do you tell this person when they have on, let's say, a freakum dress, and they just should not have that on, or they have on something inappropriate and they shouldn't have that on? Do you tell them? And it was funny because, I mean, we went back and forth so many times that it just made me think about it a little bit more. And her stance was that, and I totally get it. You know, I don't want to mess her up. If she's still in this dress, I'm going to let her wear that dress. And I totally respect that. But the way, after giving it more thought, the way I see it is, you have $1 million girl in a $20 dress. Now, mind you, we know it's a $20 dress. We know she got it off the clearance rack. She's not vested in that dress, because if that ugly dress on the clearance rack was full price, she'd have never bought that dress. Can you tell her now? You got a queen dressed like a clown. What do? Do you tell her?
A queen dressed like a clown. Somebody need to tweet that.
But you know what I'm saying. It's the truth.
Yeah.
This woman is fabulous. I mean, and I know, and it's, the points that have been brought out that, well, if this girl dresses like that, chances are her posse dresses like that too, and I totally get that too. But there is always a situation where you're going somewhere with somebody. Like, let's just take a wedding. You go to a wedding with a girlfriend, she's your date or whatever, y'all go together, you go to pick her up, and she's got on a white dress. Are you going to walk into that woman's wedding with this girl in this white dress on? No, I'm not. I'm going to have a conversation. You're not going to wear that white dress to this girl's wedding. Ain't nobody trying to look at you. They're trying to look at her. You see what I'm saying? It's just little things like there are ways to say it. But either way, say it with love. Say it kindly, but say it. Because I'm not going to say it.
And you know what? Somebody probably never told. It's possible that someone never told her it's not appropriate to wear white to a wedding. Like, the generation that we are coming up in, people are not, these kind of this tribal knowledge stuff is not being passed down or cascaded down. So some things that we think is common sense is not common sense.
Really not. It's really not. And it's something, and I go with also, if your mother or someone hasn't told you by now, perhaps, I'll bring it up. Perhaps you just don't know, like you said. Perhaps you don't know. Maybe you've never heard that. Mm-hmm. But it's just, we're not talking about dissing someone because of their style or because of their this or that. It's like helpful. And again, it's done in love. You tell people what they need to know so that you can help them, something that's going to avoid them or help them avoid a bad situation. It's not just dealing with simple things, and a lot of it's misinterpretation. It's a matter of just saying, hey, what do you mean by that? Instead of just taking it in silence and being quiet. You know what I'm saying? It's just
Absolutely.
Being comfortable discussing situations.
All right, listeners, there you have it. Terricinia-St-Clair, conversing with the elephant, right there, dealing with hot topics, challenging issues, facts of life. All of that is wrapped up into this book. And so, Terricinia, I jumped over to Amazon.com, as I always do, because I love to see what readers are saying. And so there's a review from a Kindle reader named Jackie, and she says, a very good and hilarious read. There were things that many know but just needed to be reminded of, as well as things that some need to be told. And then she goes on to say it's such a cute concept, and it's a great dialogue to get a dialogue going. And so really, I think, is that really your mission, to really get the dialogue going between women?
Yes, definitely. It's just to be comfortable with things, because we take a lot of pressure off of ourselves when we release things that are on our minds. I mean, if you don't give it to the person that can do something about it, then what's the point? I mean, and again, that's why people, a lot of times, that's why women just walk away. They don't want to deal with it. They wait on, I'll circle back. She's a little messy right now. Let me just circle back. But she never circles back. The friendship's done. Bye. And it's just so unnecessary. And we miss out on all the good that person could bring into your life. She might be messing a season, but that doesn't define her. That doesn't say who she was before the situation or after the situation. And right now I'm talking about like more serious things, because we start with like very easy things, just
right.
Getting off your chest. And we deal with like big issues in the book. So, yeah.
Oh, I think that's a great point. Messy for a season. Maybe,
Right.
maybe this is just a season, a temporary thing that she's going through, and so don't throw the baby out with the bath water. And that'll lose. Yeah. No, go right ahead.
No, exactly. That's my point exactly. This is what she's doing right now. This is not who she is or what she's always done. Of course, there are situations where, this becomes who she is. She repeatedly does the same thing over. Of course, let that go. You can, save yourself. But I'm talking about the girlfriend that's been there, that's been there for you and have always been a good friend and always been sensible. Everybody, my Aunt Alma, bless her heart, I love this woman. She always told me that everybody is entitled to one bout of insanity in their life. And, and I think at some point we all go through a period where we're not the best to ourselves and we're not the best to others. Yeah, I say, ease back. You don't have to deal with it on a day-to-day. But, again, don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. She ain't always been bad.
All right. I think we all want grace at some points in our lives, so I think we should offer each other grace. Those are great points. Okay, so you covered 25 things. Now, number one, I know you probably had a list of 100 and said, I got to just knock this. I got to start with 25, and maybe I'll come back later. So of the 25, and certainly listeners, we want you to go pick up the book, but can you share, Terricinia, maybe 2 or 3 of the topics that you do discuss in the book?
Yeah, and I'm just going to read the title. The first one I want to talk about just briefly is You Got a New Man, huh? I know you do. I haven't heard from you in years.
Ooh, ouch.
You don't want to, yeah, exactly, and you don't want to bring that up. Why don't you want to bring that particular situation up? You don't want to bring it up because you want her to be happy. You don't want her to think that, that you're hating on her because she's got this new man, because it has nothing to do with that. Because you know what I'm saying? We've been through breakups before, and they always circle back to you. Oh, man, he broke my heart, whatever. We hope that that's not the situation here, but, if it is, keep your girl. And and then I have one about child rearing. Little man and princess ain't too young or too cute to have their butt spanked. I bet you every time somebody comes to mind, don't they? Somebody. So I'm not even gonna go into that. I'll let y'all read that. On a lighter note, tweet. Unless you're Rihanna, your friends and followers are not really that interested in your every move. And if you post one more picture of your cat, dog, kid, fill in the blank, I'm gonna cut you.
You're going to cut her. Wow. But you know what? That's something, because we're in the age of the selfie. We're in the age of that kind of gratification. We are all, I think, a little bit more narcissistic than we want to believe. And so social media feeds that. It feeds that. And then sometimes the selfies don't even look good, but people are like, oh, you look gorgeous, you look great. And so the monster continues to grow.
Right, and that's what kills me. It's like, if you're going to take one, take a good one. Don't post, just see what's dead face. Come on now. Don't nobody need to see that. I think you look better. I think you look better. Don't post that. Burn that one. Let that one go.
Oh, that's good. See, that's a nice way to say it. I've seen you look better.
Much better. That is not a good look on you. Don't do that one. Don't post that. Look, I'm guilty because I have posted something else. I cannot sit here and tell you that I didn't have no shame. But, I have decent pictures. Some of them.
I find that hard to believe. Oh my goodness! So I know some listeners are saying, "Okay, so how do I get a hold of the book?" While they're listening, how can they get a hold of the book?
Okay, you can buy the book off of Amazon.com. It's available in paperback and in Kindle. Paperback's $10.95. Kindle version is $5.99. Or you can go directly to the website, and that is conversingwiththeelephant.com.
All right, very simple. Yeah.
Yep.
And then how can they connect with you on social media?
Okay, on Facebook, I'm at Conversing with the Elephant, or you can reach out to me at my personal site, and that is terricinia-st-clair. On Twitter, I'm at No Taboo Off Topic. And, of course, you can hit me up on email at info@conversingwiththeelephant.com.
All right. Now, do you consider yourself a very bold, direct person anyway? Is that just your style?
Well, it's kind of learned, and I think as we age, we get more so direct.
Mm-hmm.
I do think that. And please understand, I come from a mama that will tell you anything and have no shame in it and follow it up with, baby girl, people that love you tell you the truth. People that don't lie. I've heard that. How many times have you heard it? Because I have heard that a lot.
Uh-huh.
A lot. My mom has no shame in her game, and I think I just got it, and it keeps confusion down. You know what I'm saying? Truth and honesty, it just keeps confusion to a minimum. You know where this person stands, you know, as it relates to the situation or as it relates to you. When they come out and they tell you, I don't want to try to figure out what's on your mind. You know, something's not right, and you got that kind of that look, you know, like something ain't right, like you know something bothering you, but you don't want to say nothing. You know, I don't want to deal with that because I'm like, what?
Just spit it out.
I mean, I'm just not going to. It takes a lot to embarrass me. It takes a lot to hurt my feelings. If you hurt my feelings, I'm gonna tell you what I'm gonna say. I'm gonna say, ouch, that hurts.
Uh-huh.
You know, I always know where I am.
Well, I think that's refreshing. I think people like that authenticity. And so, what age group would be really good for this type of book? Who did you target from an age group standpoint?
And I look at all the topics in there, and I'm going to say anyone 17 or older with a friend and a sense of humor, this book is for you, because if you're 17 or you're young, you haven't experienced these things, you will. If you are older and you just sometimes, you're going through stuff and you start to think you're crazy, you read something and it's like, yeah, I'm not crazy. That's really happening, or that really happened. And it's just for everybody. And I directed it towards women just dealing with our friendships. However, men can benefit from this as well because, they don't always be completely honest with the women in their lives or even other men. Everybody, they don't hold the corner store on honesty and just candidness. And then also for them, it's like a look into our psyche and how we relate to each other and what we may be thinking and understanding. I think the whole section on understanding friendship tiers is a gift, and it relieves us of a lot of responsibility that we think we carry when we really don't.
So there are levels to there are levels to friendship. And so if you understand these tiers, can you talk a little bit about that? That sounds really interesting. Talk a little bit, and I know it's in the book, but talk a little bit about that.
But yeah, it's like your BFF. That's the person who's ultimately responsible after your mom. That's the person who's ultimately responsible for telling you what you need to know. She's responsible to make sure you don't walk out the house crazy. If you're in a jacked up situation, it's her responsibility to say, look, you can do better. Get out of that. You're making a mess. It's her responsibility. But then you have the next level, and I call them the bridesmaid because ultimately these are the people that you would have. You might not have all of them when you get married in your wedding or your bridal party, but these are the ones that are closest to you next to your BFF. And they're responsible for telling you when your best friend doesn't. I say when she fails to do her job.
They're the next line of defense.
Yeah, that's the next line of defense. The three of you see 4 women walk in the club. 3 of them are well put together. Let's assume that that's her best friend and 2 of her other close girlfriends. All of them looking tight. She looking crazy. One of them has supposed to pull her aside. Was supposed to pull her aside. But anyway, that's the bridesmaid. That's the second tier. The third tier is what I call let's do lunch. And this person, she doesn't have any real responsibility to you. You're tight. She's your girl. You like her. Y'all have lunch together every so often. but she doesn't owe you anything unless you ask her straight up. And then it goes on to more interesting tiers that are not as close as that, so you can imagine where it's going. But yeah.
Wow. And so the challenge is not to get caught in you think you are tier one, you think you're the BFF, and really the other person sees you as one of the lower tiers. I see that as a problem. Or B, you are have expectations of those lower tier friends that maybe you shouldn't have expectations around. That's interesting. Listeners, y'all need to get this book. That's good.
Yeah, because those lower tiers don't owe you that. This person, and then I say also that be careful about that BFF because it's not always mutual. You know, you may be the best friend to me, but there might be another best friend on the other end. Someone else might be a best friend. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
It's not always mutual. So, yeah.
I think, Terricinia-St-Clair, you have much to say and much to offer in your book, Conversing with the Elephant. Again, tell listeners how they can get a hold of it, how they can connect with you, all that good stuff.
Okay, the book's available on Amazon in Kindle and in paperback, and that is just go to Amazon.com, type in Conversing with the Elephant, and it should be the first thing to pop up. Connecting with me on Facebook is easy, Conversing with the Elephant, or my name, Terricinia-St-Clair. On Twitter, you can reach me at No Taboo Off Topic. No Taboo Off Topic. And, of course, there's email, info@conversingwiththeelephant.com.
Wonderful. Perfect. And we have certainly tagged on Facebook, so those are easy connection points. If you're over on Sharvette.com, my main website, we have a wonderful blog post that links you directly to her website, so those are easy connection points. And would you also say, Terricinia, that we know this is for women, would you recommend that men purchase it either for them to learn or for them to share with women in their lives?
Definitely. If they're going home every night to a woman, no offense, y'all, I do this too, and we're complaining about a situation, or I can't believe she did, or I can't believe she said, that's the perfect person for them. If you have something that you want to tell someone that you just cannot find the words or the courage, this is the book for you. This book will do it for you, and it will help you learn to do it going forward. That's it. It's a great book for everybody because everyone's got someone in their life that does not like to communicate openly. They tiptoe. They're too polite. They're just nice. Maybe they're weak. Maybe they're angry. Whatever it is, share the book. Give them the book. This will be so helpful to them in the long run. And then you'll find that your relationship gets better because you're candid. It's a matter of trust. I'm going to trust you with the truth. When I realize that I can't trust you with the truth, we deal with those types of things too, because you can't tell everybody everything. But if this person is a person you love, if you love this person, you owe them honesty. It improves your relationship. It takes a lot of pressure off of you, and it just helps them to grow and help them to deal with it. Because like we talked about earlier, some situations people just are not aware of. You could do something to offend someone, and you don't even know you're doing it. So, yes, definitely. Men, read this book, share this book. And for the record, you guys are next because we have stuff that we want to tell you and don't tell you.
So is that the next thing you're working on?
Oh, yeah. And I got...
I see. That's going to be good. We're going to have to keep our eye on you, Terricinia-St-Clair. And so my last question for you, the goal of my show is to motivate, excite, and influence. And we want to know what continues to motivate you.
Wow. I'm just motivated by life itself. I just enjoy life and the good, the bad, just the living, the emotion part of it, just life excites me. And it just every day, I just wake up wondering what God has for me. And I love it. I just thank him. It's like, regardless, good, bad, or different, it's going to be something that's going to benefit me in this day. And I wake up every day put that on my mind and on my heart. And I thank God for that.
Wonderful. Well said. Great perspective. And it's been great having you on the show.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Thank you. It was great to sit here and talk to you and everyone. Y'all are awesome.
Oh, thank you. And thank you for representing Richmond well. I failed to mention that. If I did, she's right here in the capital city of Richmond, Virginia with us. So that's awesome. You represent us well. So thanks for stopping by. All right, listeners, we're going to take a quick commercial break, and then we're going to be getting ready for our second segment with James Edwards. He is jumping into the virtual green room now, the most valuable motivator. He is going to be talking to us today. So listen, we're going to take a quick commercial break, and we're going to be back. And don't you move. Don't you go anywhere. All right.
It's the Sharvette Mitchell Radio Show. Sharvette will be back after this.
Hello, we are 123jobzone.com, an online job search portal. We are user-friendly, and if you're searching for a job, with us, it's easy as 1, 2, 3. Step 1. Go to www.123jobzone.com and register as a job seeker. Step 2. Once registered, upload your resumes. Step 3. Get connected with employers looking for people like you who are ready and willing to work. Don't forget to follow 123 Job Zone on Twitter and Facebook to find out more about our upcoming job fairs. What are you waiting for? Stop by 123jobzone.com today. Good luck with your job search.
IndustryBuzz with 3Zs.com. Join in today on the movement to bring integrity back to media. With one click of a button, you can disseminate your information right from IndustryBuzz to all your favorite social sites like Facebook, Twitter, MySpace, and to your email contact. Maximize your vision today. Plus, get the latest news, entertainment, and media. Need fashion or makeup tips? Looking for a job? Connect with us today. Want to connect with other business visionaries? Connect with us today. This site is for everyone, from teens to music lovers, from businessmen and women, industry professionals and performers. As a member of Industry Buzz with 3Zs, you'll gain help promoting your vision. Industry Buzz with 3Zs will expose, expand, and keep your fan base up to date with all your happenings. Members also receive free or discounted perks from various sponsored companies. So join the social network, expand, and stabilize your business. Connect with like-minded individuals. Need an artist to minister at your upcoming event? Look on Industry Buzz. Have a voice and submit your article to our e-magazine. Industry Buzz with 3Zs is the place to globalize your vision. Establish it today. Be heard. It's all on Industry Buzz with 3Zs.com.
Spiritual Food for Thought, 31 inspirational quotes to jumpstart your day by LaTanya Boyd, consists of inspirational messages that offer daily words of empowerment, promote spiritual growth and development in the Lord Jesus Christ for your day-to-day living. Spiritual Food for Thought, 31 inspirational quotes to jumpstart your day. Available now on Kindle, ebook, and paperback. Log on to www.latboyd.com.
She's here to motivate, excite, and influence you. She's Sharvette Mitchell. It's the Sharvette Mitchell Radio Show with in-depth interviews from today's leading authors, gospel artists, stars that you want to know about. And now, Sharvette Mitchell.
All right, welcome back again to the Sharvette Mitchell Radio Show. Super excited to have all those that are tuning in from all across the World Wide Web, from Twitter, from Facebook, oh my goodness, from Instagram, from Sharvette.com, and all of those great places. Listen, we're moving right on into our second segment. My guest is hanging out in the virtual green room, enjoying some virtual snacks, and we're excited to be talking to James Edwards, the most valuable motivator, the MVP. Yes, I know y'all talking about the MVP, but listen, we're going to be talking to the MVP today, an upcoming book. I tell you what, he's all on YouTube and Periscope and all that good stuff. And so we're bringing him up to the mic right now so that you can have some motivation and inspiration in your life. And we're excited to feature and have on air with us right now, James Edwards. Welcome to the show.
Hey, how you doing? You doing okay, Ms. Mitchell?
I am doing great. How are you doing?
Man, I'm doing good. I can't complain.
Listen, you are blowing up Periscope.
Man, I like Periscope. Periscope is, I like the fact that I love a lot of speakers like to get on the stage and speak, but I love Q&A, honestly. I like Q&A. I like question and answering because I really believe that Q&A really brings out what's really, really in a person. And that's what Periscope does. I can speak, and then the people can come in and ask me questions as I'm speaking, and I love it.
I love it. And listeners, if you're sitting there saying, what is Periscope? Listen, Periscope is a new social media platform. It is live video stream. So all you need is a smartphone, and you can be sitting there live with someone like James and hearing him talk, and you can type in comments and all that good stuff. So listen, we'll coach you on Periscope a little bit later. But for those of you that's up on it, that's up on it. If there are listeners that are on Periscope, how can they follow you on Periscope?
Oh, you just got to type in my name, my Twitter name and Periscope name, all is the same. James Edwards, MVM. And you type that in and it'll shoot you straight to me.
All right, there you go. So, James, you are certainly nationally recognized as a motivational speaker. You are CEO of Motivating Minds to Create Incorporated. And I'm telling you, you've got a new upcoming book that the foreword was written by certainly best-selling author, the late, great Dr. Miles Monroe. Tell our listeners how all of this kind of started for you. What's the backstory, the backdrop story of your life?
Oh, really? I mean, first of all, I just want to say thank you for the opportunity to be on your platform to share my story and talk about, my life story and my book. But my name is James Edwards. They calling me the most valuable motivator, and my slogan is this: you got one shot, no other options, and no plan B. You got me? And I'm not self-proclaimed. I didn't just make up this name to say I'm the most valuable motivator. It was in March of 2013. when I was at Morgan Road Middle School in Augusta, Georgia. And I had just finished an assembly program giving one of my keynote messages entitled The Six Pitch of an Identity Crisis Middle School Students. And after it was over with, a little young kid by the name of Conrad Rose Jr., I'll never forget him. He ran up to me after it was over with, and I had on my T-shirt, Motivating Minds to Create MMC, and he was like, hey, man, what's that MMC on your shirt stand for? And I said, it stands for Motivating Minds to Create. And he was like, man, you're not MMC, you the MVM. And I said, what's that? He said, man, you the most valuable motivator, because I ain't never heard nobody motivate me like this. And after hearing you, I want to make something out of myself. And that kind of, began to take off. I told a couple of my people on my team, and before I knew it, started doing videos, tagging myself as the most valuable motivator after that. And it just kind of like, people like, man, you are the most valuable motivator. But my story goes as follows. My father was killed when I was 4. And my mom was addicted to drugs, crack cocaine in particular, until I was 17. My grandmother, she was my caregiver. She raised me. When I was like 9 years old, my grandmother started having massive heart failure. And when I was 12, my grandmother, she passed away. So I moved in with my mom around about the age of 10. And because my mom battled a drug and an alcohol addiction, every single day I faced verbal abuse, mental abuse, physical abuse. On so many amounts of occasions, my mom looked at me and told me I was the worst mistake that she ever made. And never forget, I was 12 years old, and I was in the 7th grade, and I was playing quarterback. Football was all I had. I was crazy about football, loved football, and I was the quarterback for my 7th grade team. And every day I used to go to school, get in trouble, because I was just dying for attention. My grandmother was sick, and my mom was on drugs. I felt like didn't nobody love me, didn't nobody care about me. And one day I got in trouble, and my mom snatched me off the football team. And I begged her, not to snatch me off the football team, and please keep me on the team. And make a long story short, she snatched me off the team before the first game. And 3 months later, my grandmother ended up dying when I was like 12. And since my mom was bringing the streets in the house, it was kind of like I made a decision right then: if I can't go to the NFL or go to the NBA, I'll just sell drugs for the rest of my life. By the time I was 15, I sold my first piece of crack cocaine. By the time I was 18, I was traveling back and forth from Florence, Alabama to Detroit, Michigan on the Greyhound bus with drugs. And by the time I was 20, 1999, I had bought my first kilo of cocaine. And a kilo of cocaine in a small city like Florence, Alabama It's like they was trying to make me a celebrity. By the time I was 24, I boarded a plane going to Houston, Texas, in an attempt to buy 5 kilos of cocaine. And believe it or not, when I got there, my connect whips the gun in my face, pulled the trigger, but the gun don't fire. Robbed me for $84,000. Yeah. Did I stop? No. But on August 1st, 2005, the LBI and the DEA had enough of me. Been under investigation at that point for like 7 or 8 years. And that was the day that they arrested me and indicted me to stand charges of conspiracy to attempt to deliver and conspiracy to attempt to possess 50 to 150 kilos of cocaine and 2,000 pounds of marijuana. And when they wrapped me up in the conspiracy, they was trying to say I had my first cousin killed. They was trying to say I had my second cousin killed. Trying to lock me up for the rest of my life. But by the grace of God, on April 17, 2006, I stood in front of Judge Sharon Blackburn at the Hugo Black building, and she sentenced me to 96 months in federal prison. And on the road to prison, when there was no distractions, when there was no interruptions, when there was no interferences, I began to entertain the questions of growth. I began to face the fact of the reality of that if I go back to society, selling drugs the same way that I was selling them before I got locked up, the next time they would catch me and they would give me a life without parole sentence. So therefore, one of the first key things I did in prison was I got away from my peers. And I placed myself around older individuals who I considered at the time had wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. And one day I was with one of my mentors, and he asked me a question at the time that shook me to the core of my being. He said, James, let's go back to day one. What caused you to sell drugs anyway? Right at that point, I couldn't describe it. Right at that moment, I couldn't answer the question. But as the question just stayed with me and it resonated in my mind over and over and over and over again, like 3 weeks later, it hit me like a ton of bricks. And I said, man, I was in an identity crisis. Right at that point, I made a conscious decision to find my gifts, my talents, and my abilities. Wasn't long after that, I answered a call, had a supernatural call from God, and I answered the call. And so at this point, I'm studying the Bible night in and night out. Every type of book, the spirituality or personal development, I'm reading it. I got a hold of the great Dr. Miles Monroe's books, and I read every single thing that he's ever penned. Read Creflo, everything Creflo Dollar had out, Kenneth Hagin, Charles Capps, C.S. Lewis. Then I got into Dave Ramsey, got into Napoleon Hill, Brian Tracy. I began to read all those books, and I walked out of prison August the 2nd, 2011, after doing 6 years in federal prison, with the mindset of I have to turn this mistake into a miracle. I have to be an asset to my community and not a liability. You got me? And
yes,
as I've been preparing to speak in prison, they are calling me the prison yard preacher, the motivational encourager of the prison yard. But I walked out of prison knowing that I had a weight of wisdom, knowledge, and understanding in me, and I was working my first job, and I'll never forget it. And I was at this job probably about 6 to 7 months, and one Saturday, I went to work around about 3 o'clock, and I got off that morning probably like 1:15 when I got to the car. And during the course of the day, I waited on probably about 12 biker boys at a table. It was about 12 of them. They was white individuals. It was biker boys, and they ran me, and they, ran me back and forth. They dogged me out. They did everything but called me the N-word and spit in my face. You got me? And they left me $2 on the table. You got me?
Oh, wow.
After they left the $2 on the table for the remainder of the day, I got off that night. I get in my car, and I got $16 to my name. And I'm sitting in the car, and I say, God, I did not sign up for this. And as I started whining and crying and complaining, and, I just like, God, man, I'm going to be real with you. I ain't about to play with this thing. I know how to go get me $100,000 right now. You got me? I ain't signed up for this. And I'm crying and I'm whining, and all at the same time, I heard a still small voice on the inside say to me, as clear as day, said, son, don't you dare keep complaining about something you're not willing to change. And I said, huh? How am I going to change it? Man, these people won't give me a job. I'm a convicted felon. It's the only job they going to give me is working at a table, busting tables. And he said, if they don't give you a job, I need you to go create your own job. I say, man, I'm going to create a job. I don't have no college degree. I don't have no trades. He say, stop focusing on everything you don't have and focus on the one gift that you do have. You got me. I walked away from that job that night, and I had days later, I was standing in front of the Houston Texans NFL team, telling them to push, giving them a motivational message the night before they played the Jacksonville Jaguars. About 75 days from that day there, I was at the Steve Harvey Disney Dreamers weekend with Steve Harvey and Brandy Harvey and Carly Harley and all them. And I was at the right place at the right time, and I was a fill-in speaker, got the microphone for 3.5 minutes. From there, 90 days later, I was at the Steve Harvey mentoring weekend. From there, I began, this was in 2012, I've been going from city to city, state to state, stage to stage. I found myself in front of the Kansas City Chiefs. I've spoken to the New York Giants. I've spoken to the University of Alabama. I've spoken at Bishop Marvin Winans Holy Convocation 2 years back to back. I've been going everywhere, and it just kind of like blew up. I'm on universities, high schools, the United States Army, nonprofit organizations.
Wow.
They calling me around the world, and they asking me, how in the world have you done so much in a short amount of time? And you know what I tell them?
My God. What you tell them?
The DEA will transform your life.
Oh, my God. Perfect segue to talk about the book.
You got it.
Tell us. Yes, I love it.
Yeah. The DEA physically took me off the street and locked me up in prison. But the revelation behind the book is that if you want to transform your mind, you want to transform your money, you want to transform your marriage, you want to transform your image, it takes three things. It takes a desire, it takes an effort, and it takes a specific attitude to transform your life.
My God. And you are the voice of experience. This is not something, you have lived this, because there are countless others who walk the path you walk, and they did not come out with the way you came out. They ended up back in. They ended up, God, for some of them not here anymore. But clearly, you know that these three things work because they worked in your life. And so, when did you decide? Okay, when did you decide I've got to put this in a book?
Man, believe it or not, I've been speaking. Right, the cardinal rule of motivational speaking. First of all, I went inside of the church as a preacher. You got me? And when I began to show that, when I began to get close to leaders, and they like, what you gonna pastor? And I'm like, you got to get under somebody. I'm like, no, God told me specifically that I'm not a pastor. And they like, well, what are you gonna do? And so because I just have a working knowledge of faith and a working knowledge of the word, only thing I'm thinking that I'm an evangelist that has a prophetic call over my life at the same time. I have a prophetic ministry and it's an evangelist. And I'm like, man, I'm thinking that that I'm going to evangelize, so to speak, as according to the Bible, right? But then I begin to find out that it's not running like this. So at that point, I was going inside of the churches, preaching tops off the churches, and then it's kind of like I was at home, and so it's kind of like it started real fast, then it stopped. You understand what I'm saying? So when the church started closing the door, God began to open doors in the world, and I began to then that's when I started getting into motivational speaking. Never heard nothing about motivational speaking. And before I know it, I'm in front of schools and universities, and I'm telling my story, but I'm giving transformational principles. You got me? That's transforming mentalities. And so people are telling me, man, you have a behavior modification program. Do you realize that people go to school 15, 20 years to try to get what you got, so to speak?
God.
And they pushed me into motivational speaking. I have never heard of a motivational speaker. I'm saying I knew Brian Tracy was he was calling himself a transformational speaker. I never knew what it was. I just knew he was on personal development. And so I started studying the life of Les Brown and Michael Eric Dyson and Eric Thomas and all them people. And so many people was trying to compare me to Eric Thomas, like you the next day. No, I'm not, because I'm full of authenticity, originality, and creativity. You understand what I'm saying? I'm not. I got to separate myself from him some type of way. You got me? And so, and before I knew it, it was just kind of like I've been speaking for 3.5, 4 years, and the cardinal rule is you don't speak without a book. You got me. I've been in all of these platforms. I've been under all of these platforms, and I had so much in my book, we had to break it up into 2.
My goodness, because you have much to share. You have much to share. And you know what? I think it is such the plan of God that your message had to go this route as opposed to originally thinking, okay, I'm going to evangelize, I'm going to preach. But people that need to hear you may never grace the doors of a church, but they will see that your life was changed. And they can only attribute that to God. That can only be attributed to him.
Yeah, without a shadow of a doubt. The people who I'm called to, you got me. Jesus said something very, very powerful. He said something very, very powerful that I think a lot of leaders miss. Watch this. He said, my sheep hear my voice. He said they know it and they going to follow me. You got me. So God began to show me that my sheep is not church folks. You got me. They know too much. They know entirely too much. They'll never go through the education and re-education process. You got me? You call to the people in the gutter because you come out of the gutter. So the only way you can go get people out of the gutter is you have to have an experience in the gutter. You got me? And then the streets, gangsters, they know. Gangsters in the streets, they know. They know if you're real and they know if you're fake. You got me? So that's the reason why a lot of pastors, so to speak, ministers can't go to the place, they can't go to the slums to get them because they haven't had no experience. And they're not they sheep. You got me? Those are my sheep. So just like you said. Yeah. The people who really want to hear me and need to hear me, they will not come to the church. You got me? And so I've gotten to the point now that I've built my platform to such a degree that I can go into a city, right, in the southeast region at this point. I can go into a city and say, hey, I'm having an event. I'm having one night of hope in the city of Birmingham, Alabama, blah, 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 blah. Because of all the stuff I did in this region and because of the people that know me down here, I'm guaranteed to have 300 people inside of the room.
My God.
Yeah. And all I'm doing is just bringing the message of transformation. You got me? It's a kingdom message, but it's not packaged in a kingdom way. You see what I'm saying? In a religious way. Let me say it like this.
Yes.
Yeah,
oh, my goodness. I love this. Listen, I know listeners are saying, okay, how can I get a hold of the book? How can I come see you? Give them all your information.
Absolutely. At this point right now, you can go, man, Twitter is what I really need to pop, but my Instagram is really, really taking off at this point. Twitter is James Edwards Twitter is James Edwards MVM. You can follow me on Twitter. I'm all over YouTube. If you just go to the YouTube and type in The Most Valuable Motivator, you can get me right there. And on Instagram, you can just type in Most Valuable Motivator. Facebook, I can't take any more friends on my personal page, but on my fan page, you can go to The Most Valuable Motivator, type it in. And my website, of course, www.themostvaluablemotivator.com. You can order my book, The DEA Will Transform Your Life, and it will take you through the transformational steps of a desire, effort, and an attitude in order for you to transform your life.
All right. I love it. And I just liked you on Instagram. So you'll see a notification on your phone when we finish the interview. And so the book they can pre-order the book. Is that correct?
Yeah, absolutely. The book, we will begin. You can pre-order the book. And book tour starts. My book tour is entitled 10 Years Later. Because on August 1st, 2005, the FBI indicted me on that day and arrested me. On August 1st, 2015, the book tour entitled 10 Years Later. Next month, I will be in Charlotte, North Carolina. I will be in Fayetteville, North Carolina. I will be in Fort Worth, Texas, 2 events, and I will be in Gadsden, Alabama next month. I think I got 6 engagements next month. And I am flirting with right now an engagement with Trayvon March's mother, Miss Sabrina Fulton. We are because we standing for the same cause. You know, basically, I'm called to destroy the identity crisis. You got me? And because her platform is, to single mothers who's raising, raising sons pretty much. And I'm called to young adult males and teens. We are flirting with an engagement that's supposed to be pretty big in Birmingham, Alabama. And I will know exactly you can just, and for all the listeners that want to keep him, that want to know about that, just stay in tune with my website, www.themostvaluablemotivator.com, and I will know Thursday for sure if we're going to pull that off in Birmingham or not.
Perfect. And if you're on Sharvette.com, our main site, there's a blog post there about James, and there's a link directly to his website, so you don't have to worry about that at all. James Edwards, the most valuable motivator. Listen, the DEA will transform your life, desire, effort, attitude, a guide to mental transformation. Oh, my goodness. And so, James, you're out doing all of this motivating, and the goal of my show is to motivate, excite, and influence. And we want to know what continues to what continues to motivate you.
For me, it's the reason why I stay so motivated is because every day I get up and I have to remind myself I have a second chance in life. You got me? I was in prison. I was in prison one day and I was crying and complaining, and I was going through the transformation process, and I was ready to quit the job I was on. And then the Holy Spirit reminded me plain today. He said, "What if the gun would have fired in your face in 2003? You wouldn't even have the opportunity." You got me? So knowing that I got a second chance at life, knowing that God imparted a gift inside of me, knowing that I have a cause for my commission because I have purpose, I discover my gift, my talent, and my ability because I have a vision that drives me. You got me? And for me, this thing keeps me going to the next level. I just had brunch with Bishop T.D. Jakes 3 weeks ago. You know, I was with Steve Harvey the day before that. And, you know, I don't want to keep tooting my own horn or anything like that, but having small
that's all right, too.
Like that, having small wins like that, and then having people see me and continue to build me and support me, I have to keep going. I have no other choice, because I know this: if I can change, if I can turn my life around, if I can fall down and get back up, if I can bounce back, anybody can. You got me? And so, man, knowing that I have something inside of me to pour back into somebody else really, really drives me to wake up in the morning and push at purpose like never before. You got me? Yes, ma'am. And so
I love it.
That's what drives me. That's what drives me. Of course, I got a 12-year-old daughter also that I have to show her day in and day out that you know that you don't get out of life what you want, you get out of life what you work for. You got me?
All
Greatness is never given; it is earned. So,
good stuff.
Yeah, it's a lot. I got some partners out of the penitentiary that I will not allow them to make up no excuse. You got me? If I can come out and turn it around and do it like this, anybody can. Got some knucklehead family members that I got to be a statue for. I got to be a platform for them. You got me?
Yeah.
And so the power of God transformation keeps me moving every single day. It keeps me motivated.
Every single day. Listeners, listen. Author, coach, motivator, and inspirational speaker, James Edwards, the motivator, this is the MVM, who you want to keep connected with. Well, it's been great just being able to share your story and your heart, your life.
Absolutely.
I almost say story, your life with us, and I trust that listeners hear the passion and are inspired and motivated by you. And so thank you so much for stopping by.
Absolutely. Thank you for the opportunity, Ms. Mitchell, and I would love. Hey, I was in Petersburg, Virginia in 2009. It's right outside of Richmond. You got it.
Yes, it is.
It would
Get
be
out of here.
It would be a beautiful thing if I can. It won't be but a matter of time. I'll be coming through there. We'll be meeting each other soon. You got me.
Listen, I am in agreement with that. I love that, because you need to be heard. You need to be heard. People need to hear you. So yes, we'll stay connected on Twitter and Instagram, all that good stuff. So
Absolutely.
awesome.
Absolutely.
All right. Well,
okay.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ms. Mitchell. You have a good day. Okay.
All righty, you too. Oh,
all right.
wow, listeners, that is a wrap for today's show. I mean, packed jam with great information, awesome guests, all show long. Listen, I know you are saying, oh, my gosh, I know somebody needs to hear the show. Listen, soon as we wrap, Sharvette.com. Just send them to Sharvette.com. They can listen to the show. They can share the link with a friend. It'll be up indefinitely. If you Google it, you're going to be able to find us because that's how we do things over here on the Sharvette Mitchell Radio Show. And so we thank you for spending time to listen to the show. We do not take that for granted, that your time is very valuable. We don't take it for granted. So again, Sharvette.com has all the information about our guests today. I've been tweeting them. Listen, I've been Facebooking them. So those are great connection points for everything that you need to find out about our guests today. And so until we meet again, it's going to be a great time. I'll see y'all guys later. Bye.
Live from Richmond, Virginia, you have been listening to the Sharvette Mitchell Radio Show. Connect with her at Sharvette.com. And until next week, stay motivated, excited, and influenced. The Sharvette Mitchell Radio Show. Signing off.